the war is around the corner. We don't know whether it will start a nuclear war or whether it will be a conventional war which will eventually become nuclear war. We don't know. I'm not a prophet. I don't have an angel speaking to me, no. We know that the war is going to come soon, because the longer they wait to attack Russia, the stronger Russia becomes. And the nice thing, the wonderful thing that makes our hearts so warm is that Russia is not afraid of them. If Russia is standing up against the oppressor, then why can't you see that you should support the one who is standing up against the oppressor? Why are you continuously blind? What can I do to wake you up? Russia knows that nuclear war will destroy Russia. They know that. But the Orthodox Christian Russian people are not afraid of death. No. No one is saying to Putin, be careful, we don't want nuclear war. No, the Russians are not doing that. If an Orthodox Christian is not afraid of death, why should a Muslim be afraid of death? If an Orthodox Christian is setting the example of courage in standing up to the greatest oppressor that the world has ever known, why can't a Muslim be the same? What's wrong with the world of Islam? Why have we lost our courage? We should not be afraid to die. A Muslim is not afraid to die. And tonight, from Surah Al-Amin, we say to NATO, even if millions of us have to die, we want the oppressor to bite the dust. Islamic eschatology not only explains these events unfolding, like the collapse of the monetary system that's coming around the corner. When your paper money can be used, you know, as wallpaper. And the only money that there'll be in the world will be electronic money, digital money. So you don't need any money changes anymore. There's only one money for the whole world. It's invisible money, it's intangible money. You can't take it out of your bank account. And if they don't like you, guess what they'll do to your account? They'll freeze it. Yeah, you have no money. And then you come to me to complain? No, no. If you're sensible, you do like the Naqshbandi, the Sufi order, the Naqshbandi. The Naqshbandi are telling their people to keep dinar and dirham. Sheikh Nazim, rahimahullah, who died a few years ago, he ordered all his followers to keep dinar and dirham. Very sensible. Very sensible. The Naqshbandi, I am told, are going into the countryside and farming, organic farming. Very sensible. Very sensible. I have to pause now because I get lots and lots of emails. I get them from Belgium, I get them from France, I get them from Britain, I get them from the United States, I get them from Algeria, I get them from Morocco, all over. Sheikh, 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 where is the Muslim village? We want to come and join the Muslim village. We want to leave this godless world and come and live in the Muslim village. Well, the answer is, well, my students in different parts of the world, they buy land and they put animals on the land and they're doing some farming, but none has built the villages yet. But let me tell you the story of one of my students. He's Malaysian, eh? And he's the only one to have done it so far. He sold his house in KL. He gave up his job which had riba. He looked on the internet and he found land which was cheap. And he bought 1 acre, cheap. And he went and built his house. He didn't get a contractor. He planted rice, he planted date palms, he planted fruit trees. His 1 acre has now become 6 acres. He has goats, he has chicken, he has ducks, he has horses on his land. It's only about an hour and a half out of KL. But to get to this land, there was a road where only a motorcycle could go. That's why it was so cheap. And he built it up. So now a motor car can go. And I went 2 weekends ago to this brother, with a wife and me, mashallah, mashallah, mashallah. He could not have done it if he didn't have the support of his wife. And they're a young couple with a son about 5 or 6 and a daughter about 2 or 3, that's it. And only a few villagers living around there, some distance away, small kampung. But a beautiful spot where he is. And when you go there, you don't want to go back to KL. So why don't you do that? Instead of sending emails to me from France and Britain, Sheikh, the Muslim village, why don't you do what this brother has done? Sell your house in London. Yes, sell your house in London. Give up your job, make hijrah. Go look for the countryside where land is cheap. So that's what you can do in preparation for nuclear war. You have to stock up on food, you have to stock up on water, you have to stock up on energy. He has a well, a tube well. He's going to use solar energy to bring the water up. But in addition, he's sensible, he has a hand pump. So if the solar energy doesn't work and there's no electricity, he can still get water using a hand pump. This is how you prepare for nuclear war, by getting out of the city. Getting out of the city, because the cities are going to be anarchy when nuclear war takes place, because there will be no food and no water and no gasoline for your motor car, no transport. Instead of seeking to run away from death, you must have it in your heart. No, I continue the mission of Islam. I'm not running away from death. Allah gives life and Allah takes life. But I have a duty to try to protect my family as best as I can, and that's why I'm moving to the remote countryside. Not only does Islamic eschatology explain the events which are unfolding in the world, like nuclear war, like the collapse of money and so on. One world government. Islamic eschatology also tells you what's coming tomorrow. And the most important event to come after the Great War, he said, sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam, khurujul malhama, fathul Constantinople, that the next event to occur after the Great War or the Malhama would be the conquest of Constantinople. That is why they changed the name to Istanbul. Not only did these wicked people change the name from Constantinople to Istanbul to hide the subject, they did more than that. They prohibited the use of the name Constantinople. It's against the law. So tell Mustafa Kemal to get lost. And all those who honor him and respect him to tell him, get lost. Because if Nabi Muhammad alayhi salam used the name Constantinople, then it is Sunnah. And you cannot prohibit a Sunnah. You must be crazy. The conquest of Constantinople takes place after the Malhama. So it's a lie that they told 600 years ago, the Ottomans, that the Ottoman conquest of Constantinople in 1453 fulfill the prophecy of Nabi Muhammad alayhi salam. That's a lie. The Malhama has not taken place as yet, Sultan Muhammad Fateh. Why are you lying like this? Yeah, you are a liar. They honor you, they honor you in Turkey, and we say you're a liar. I know it's going to give headaches to NATO. I know NATO is scared now when they listen to lectures like these. Because this is Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam speaking. This is not Nawaz Sharif speaking. What happens after the Malhama? What do? Those of us who die are the lucky ones. I hope and I pray that I am one of the lucky ones. We die. Even if you die before the Malhama, you are lucky. This is a nice time to die. This is a good time to leave the world. After the Malhama, it's going to be a terrible world. Those who survive the Malhama, I don't know how you're going to live. No sunlight. For I don't know how many days, no sunlight. But this is the message that we give from Islamic Eschatology. And may Allah take these words of mine all over the world. That if you live to see the Malhama, and if you survive the Malhama, then Imran is saying to you, on the basis of the prophecy of Nabi Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam, if you are young enough and strong enough to fight, then make some preparations for your family and head for Constantinople. Wherever in the world you may be, give up everything else. Leave Indonesia. Leave Malaysia. No government can stand in your way. The followers of Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam, all over the world, as soon as the Malhama takes place, are going to head for Constantinople. Because he said, sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam, لَتَفْتَحَنَّ الْقُنْسْتَنْتِنِيَّةِ, you will most certainly conquer Constantinople. وَلَنِعْمَ الْأَمِيرُ آمِرُهَا, what a wonderful commander will that be, of that army. وَلَنِعْمَ الْجَيْشُ ذَلِكَ الْجَيْشُ, and what a wonderful army that would be, that will conquer Constantinople. But there are, both in the Quran and in the Hadith, indications that we will conquer Constantinople on the basis of an alliance with Orthodox Christians. It will be a Muslim-Christian army that will conquer Constantinople. Which Christians will this be? Does Allah speak about Christians in the Quran with whom we can have such a relationship? Shall I remind you? Yes, it's there in the Quran, but we don't take time to study the Quran. وَلَتَجِدَنَّ أَقْرَبَهُمْ مَوَدَّةً لِلَّذِينَ آمَنُوا الَّذِينَ قَالُوا إِنَّا نَصَارَى. And you will most certainly find in time to come that those who will be closest in love and affection for you would be a people who proclaim, we are Christians. That couldn't be British and American and French Christians, because they hide their religious identity. They secularize their religion. It can only be the Orthodox Christian. That's not all. ذَلِكَ بِأَنَّ مِنْهُمْ كِسِّسِينَ. You know these Christians because they still have the ulama. The institution of the ulama is intact, and the ulama have a status in society. In that Christianity out there where a man could marry another man and get a marriage certificate, the priest is the laughing stock of the world. ذَلِكَ بِأَنَّ مِنْهُمْ كِسِّسِينَ وَرُهْبَانًا. There'll be another way you can recognize these Christians. What is it? They still have monasticism. In Britain and in France and in the United States and Canada, the monastery is now McDonald's hamburgers, or Kentucky Fry, or Pizza Hut. There are no more monasteries. The monastic way of life is gone. But in this part of the Christian world, the monastery is still there. The monk still has an important place, which is why Kosovo is such a difficult problem. Because Kosovo is the heart of the monastic life of the Orthodox Christian. And the Ottomans knew that. And Bill Clinton knew that very well at Daytona. Oh yes, he knew it. They're devils. But one more thing by which you can recognize this Christian with whom you will make an alliance. وَأَنَّهُمْ لَا يَسْتَكْبِرُونَ. They're not an arrogant people. The British, the French, the American, the German, the Canadian, they want to rule the world. They want us to all become carbon copies of themselves. You should eat the way we eat, with cutlery. You must dress the way we dress. Take off that dirty beard from off your face. A civilized man is clean shaven. A civilized man wears a shirt and trousers and jacket and tie. I say that's arrogance. I went to Russia, and when I went to Russia, I saw lots of beards. Oh yes, lots of beards in Russia. These are not an arrogant people. They don't want to rule the world. So Allah is telling you as plain as a billboard on the road to the airport. These are the Christians who in Akhir-Zaman will be closest in love and affection for you. And you have to build alliances. He says that. He says, Al-Kafiruna ba'aduhum awliya'u ba'd. The kuffar are constantly building alliances amongst themselves. إِلَّمْ تَفْعَلُوهُ تَكُنْ فِتْنَةٌ فِي الْأَرْضِ وَفَسَادٌ كَبِيرٌ. If you do not do that, there will be fitna and great fasad in the world. Is it not time for us to listen to Allah? Is it not time for us to listen to the Quran? Is it not time for us to turn to the Quran, that the Quran will help us to prepare for the events which are still to come, in which the conquest of Constantinople is the most important of all. The hadith then ends, Fathul Constantiniya Khuruj al-Dajjal, that after the conquest of Constantinople, only then will Dajjal make his appearance in human form. Prior to this, Dajjal is already in the world, but you can't see him. But he waits until the conquest of Constantinople to make his appearance. Why? Because now it's there around the neck of Israel. Dajjal took them for a ride. And now they'll face the end that Pharaoh faced when he was drowning. That the end when they're being destroyed, defeated. And the rocks and the stones will speak and say, Muslim, there's a Jew hiding behind me, come and kill him. That's the end of Israel. They will now realize the truth that Pharaoh realized underneath the water. And they will die accepting that truth, as Pharaoh died accepting the truth and knowing you're going into the hellfire. And that's why Allah preserved the body of Pharaoh. The body was discovered when? in 1898, just after the Zionist movement was established. The sign for the world that the events which will now unfold in the world would be a repeat. The world history will repeat itself. That the epic encounter between truth and falsehood, between Fir'aun and Musa, will now be reenacted in the historical process. And history will end the way it ended, underneath the water. This is Islamic Eschatology. And I pray that Allah may bless all those who now in their hearts get a fire. I want to study this subject. It's more important to me than a PhD in business management. I want that Allah should help me, that I get the knowledge with which to be able to understand the reality of the world today, using the Quran and using the hadith of Nabi Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. رَبَّنَا تَقَبَّلْ مِنَّا إِنَّكَ أَنْتَ السَّمِيعُ الْعَلِيمُ وَتُبْ عَلَيْنَا يَا مَوْلَانَا إِنَّكَ أَنْتَ التَّوَّابُ الرَّحِيمُ بِرَحْمَتِكَ يَا أَرْحَمَ الرَّاحِمِينَ آمين.